All right, old school NBA fans, self-researched NBA facts. I got another video for you. Per usual, thanks to anybody who watches my videos, subscribes to my channel. I really appreciate it. Your guys' support has been great. I'm up over 1,000 subscribers now. Couldn't be more grateful for that. When I started this channel, I just thought I'd probably reach a couple hundred people and that'd be it. I'd have, a couple hundred people thought like I did, and the fact that I got over 1,000 people who actually subscribe to what I have to say, it's been great. I don't mind putting in the work. That's fine. I do a lot of this stuff just for my own knowledge and to share it with everybody else and the people that are eager to hear it. It's been great, really. So thanks to all you guys. This video here is, I know the Anthony Edwards thing's out there, and he's not the first person to say how there's just no skill in the other eras. And I did a video on that showing that, there's a lot of things that people were better skilled at back in the day than they are today, and that's not even up for debate. But what I was going to look at specifically is defense. There was a plethora of defensive players that are either not in the Hall of Fame, that that was their side of the ball, defense. They're either not in the Hall of Fame, or players that just never made an all-star team, and they were great players, at least on the defensive side of the ball. You don't really have that in today's day. Now, people will argue that now you have to be more well-rounded, you have to shoot the three and all that, but in the post or guarding your man, on-ball defender, that is sorely lacking in today's NBA, and that is a skill. It's more that I've heard Chris Broussard say that's just effort. It's more than effort, okay? Defensive players, it's about positioning, it's about anticipating like a pass, knowing when to switch on a player, when not to, how to read a screen, anticipating all that stuff. Rebounding, boxing out, all those things are absolute skill. It's more than just effort. It just is. Sure, giving more effort can make you a better defensive player, but you also have to have the skill to do it and the talent. So I'm going to give you a few players that are not in the Hall of Fame at all, but some guys that were very good, especially on the defensive side of the ball. For example, you ever heard of a guy named Norm Van Leer? He played for the Bulls from 1969 to 1979. He was an 8-time all-defensive player. He was a 3-time All-Star, and he even got an assist title. Some people probably never even heard of that guy. He was a great defender. How about Don Buse? He played from 1976 to 1985 on Phoenix. 6 times all defense, a steals title, has an assist title. He was a 2-time All-Star. How about a guy named George Johnson? Played primarily for Golden State. 3 block titles. He only made 1 all-defense. He had 5 straight seasons of 3 blocks or more. Most people never even heard of this guy. Paul Silas, he was actually a coach, played primarily for Atlanta from 64 to 1980. He was a 5-time all-defensive player. He did make 2 all-star teams, but a very good player, no doubt about it. How about Dan Roundfield? I remember this guy. He played with Dominique for a little while on Atlanta. 5-time all-defense. This guy was actually top 5 in MVP in 1980. A 3-time All-Star. Actually made All-NBA once. Very good player. Defense was his specialty, though. How about Michael Ray Richardson? Does anybody know who Michael Ray Richardson is? This guy was a very good player. He absolutely was a very good, well-rounded player. He made 4 All-Star teams, 2 All-Defense. He's got an assist title, 3 steals title. He got a knee injury he suffered in '86 that effectively ended his career. Here was his line in 1985. 20.1 points per game, 5.6 rebounds per game, 8.2 assists per game, and 3.0 steals per game. That was Michael Ray Richardson. What a very good player. And there was a plethora of these kind of players in the league. You just don't have these. You got a few guys like, a Draymond Green, a Marcus Smart, a Jaren Jackson, Rudy Gobert. I mean, these are supposed to be the best defensive players in the league. Anthony Davis is really good, but they didn't have the plethora like back then. Like I said, these guys, some of them didn't even make all-star teams. Buck Williams is a guy who made 3 all-star teams, 4 all-defensive teams. He had 3 times he was in the top 10 for MVP, 3 times he was in the top 7 for Defensive Player of the Year. Buck Williams, a very good player, won Rookie of the Year. How about Larry Nance? He made 3 all-star teams, also 3 all-defensive teams. Excellent player. He was a key player in the 92 Cleveland. He averaged 3 blocks a game for them when they made that run into the Eastern Conference Finals. Excellent player. How about Alvin Robertson, a guy who would have been in the Hall of Fame? Definitely a forgotten player. He won a Defensive Player of the Year, 3-time steals leader, 5 times he was in the top 5 for Defensive Player of the Year. That's more than Kobe. 4-time All-Star. 1 time he made All-NBA. He had offensive game too, kind of like Michael Ray Richardson, pretty well-rounded player. But he was a defensive monster, no doubt about that. How about Mark Eaton? He won 2 Defensive Player of the Years. He's got 4 block titles. 5 times he was All-Defense. He's only made 1 All-Star team. Defense just wasn't sexy enough. You know what I mean? It definitely isn't today. Horace Grant made 4 all-defensive teams. He's another guy worth mentioning. How about Mookie Blaylock? 6 times all-defense, 2 steals titles. He had 6 years of 2.5 steals. He made 1 all-star team. That's it. That good of a defensive player made 1 all-star team. Again, it's just not sexy enough. All right, how about Derek Harper? Derek Harper finished 3rd for Defensive Player of the Year in 1990. 3 times in the top 8 for Defensive Player of the Year. He was twice all-defense, never made an all-star team. How about Paul Pressey? He finished 3rd in Defensive Player of the Year in 1985. 3 times in the top 8 for Defensive Player of the Year, never made an all-star team. Nate McMillan, 3 times in the top 8 for Defensive Player of the Year, 2 times all-defense, never made an all-star team. Derek McKee, he was 2-time all-defense. He never made an all-star team. How about P.J. Brown, 3-time all-defense. He never made an all-star team. Remember Theo Ratliff? He actually did make 1 all-star team. 3 block titles. 6 years of 3 blocks or more. That's really, really good. You're not going to see much of that today. Maybe Wembanyama will because the guy's like 9 feet tall. But, there was just a lot of players back then that were very good defensively that didn't make all-star teams or made a couple. If they made them, though, it's because like Larry Nance, Michael Ray Richardson, they had offensive game. But just on the defensive side of the ball, they rarely let people in. Look how many all-star teams Dennis Rodman has. I think twice he made an all-star team. Andre Karolinko. But every one of these players I'm naming are not in the Hall of Fame. Not even close. Andre Karolinko was 3 times all-defense. He's got a block title. He was a very good defender. He played from 2001 to 2015. Utah was his main team. Metta World Peace, 4-time all-defense. He won a Defensive Player of the Year. He made 1 all-star team. Doug Christie, 4-time all-defense. Never made an all-star team. Bruce Bowen, 8-time all-defense. He's even got a 3-point percentage title. He's a career 39% 3-point shooter. None of that matters, though. He won, 3 championships in 03, 5, and 7. No Hall of Fame for him. Larry Hughes. Only 1-time all-defense, but he got a steals title, and he had the best steal per game in the entire decade of the 2000s at 2.9. Never made an all-star team. Tayshaun Prince, 4-time all-defense, never made an all-star team. Marcus Camby, he won a Defensive Player of the Year, 4-time block title winner, 4-time all defense, never made an all-star team, which I find to just be crazy. You got Tony Allen, 6-time all defense, never made an all-star team. Serge Ibaka won defensive player of the year, or he was 2nd in defensive player of the year, 3rd, and he has a 4th, a 2nd, a 3rd, and a 4th. 2 block titles, never made an all-star team. And he actually did have some pretty good offensive numbers. Then that's about right in that era, right around there, is when I just feel like the really good defensive players just went away. I mean, there were some, but I just gave you a whole plethora of guys that mainly played in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. Those 30 years, you could say. In the last 25 years, I mean, Joakim Noah, he won a Defensive Player of the Year. So did Marc Gasol. I mean, yeah, they're pretty good defenders. They're not killers like some of these other guys. Tyson Chandler won a Defensive Player of the Year. Tyson Chandler he never had 2 blocks per game in his whole career and never had 1 steal per game. But that's your Defensive Player of the Year. Okay, if you say so. There's other guys, like Drew Holiday. Sure, he's a 2-time All-Star, 5-time All-Defense. Okay, yeah, I can give you that one there. But the point is that there was a lot of great defensive players back in the day. And they weren't All-Star. They didn't call them All-Stars or whatever. But that was a skill. Defense is a skill. And there was very, very good defenders. The guys today don't have to deal with these really good defenders all spread out throughout the whole league. They can almost do whatever they want. The rules have changed so much that you can literally do whatever you want. I mean, you can palm the ball and you can choose what direction you want to go in midstream. You know how much easier that would be to score on somebody? I mean, I don't even know what to say. The setting of the illegal screens, just the carrying and the illegal screens alone, those 2 things. And then on top of that, you get a hop step. I mean, these aren't skills. This is no longer basketball. This is some different kind of sport. You could say the guys are better 3-point shooters today, but I argue that the defense was not as tight. So they get a lot of open looks, and then you incorporate the illegal screens. They just try to go to the weak matchup and exploit it. That's all the NBA is today. Shooting threes, set screens, blah, blah, blah. There's a few guys like Jokic and Giannis and Luka Doncic that don't just shoot threes, but they do too. But anyway, that's it for this video. I just want to make a quick video and let people know about all these players that were very good defensive players that are not in the Hall of Fame, that some of them didn't even make all-star teams. And today, you just don't really have that. I guess Marcus Smart has never made an all-star team. He won a Defensive Player of the Year. Of course, I question how great that guy really was. But anyway, all the rest of the players basically, they just don't emphasize defense as much. There used to be defensive specialists. You needed a stop. You brought that guy in off the bench. No more specialists anymore. Now they just want you to be offensively well-rounded. They don't even care about defense. I mean, you look at some of these guys like Luka Doncic, even LeBron James' defense, it's a joke. You can do whatever you want to these guys. But anyway, that's about it for this video. I felt remiss I wanted to bring up these players. Some forgotten players, very skillful players. Oh, there's one more. Fat Lever. Fat Lever was going to be awesome. I mean, he really was. He had 4 straight seasons of 20, what was it? He was a career 14 points per game, 6 rebounds, 6 assists guy. He had 7 years of 2.0 plus steals per game. He was only a 2-time All-Star. He battled injuries his whole career. That guy could have really been great. But anyway, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching.